All right, hey everyone. I hope you're all doing well. We're already almost halfway through 2025, and if we follow the historical crypto cycles, well, the end of the bull run could be here in less than 6 months. In other words, we're currently right in the decisive period, the period where everything can really shift. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you the 5 cryptocurrencies I consider essential, and we can even say almost indispensable in your wallet if you really want to perform well at the end of this bull run. Before we dive in, Before we get into the heart of the matter, thank you to all those who will take the time right now to comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. Let's start directly with Bitcoin in the first position. 1. Bitcoin. And if I had to keep only one crypto, for me it would be Bitcoin, simply because it's the market leader. And even in the current cycle, contrary to what many thought, Bitcoin has actually been one of the best performers in the market. In addition to that, as you know, Bitcoin was the first crypto to have an ETF. And today, about a year and a half later, we have enough perspective to say that Bitcoin ETFs are a real success. And from memory, it even seems that it was the most successful launch in the entire history of ETFs. Personally, I have always really insisted on the importance of having Bitcoin in your wallet. And even now, Bitcoin remains the majority crypto in my wallet. And I remind you that in terms of objectives, what I expect is Bitcoin at $175,000 in this cycle. And so I consider that even at the current price, around $105,000, Bitcoin remains a crypto that still has good potential for the future. 2. Ethereum. To continue, the second crypto that is essential for me for this end of the bull run is Ethereum. So that goes somewhat in the same direction as Bitcoin, even if Ethereum remains ultimately the eternal second in the market. And even if it's a crypto that has many issues in the current cycle. But despite that, it still remains the second largest crypto in the market. At the same time, it remains the blockchain that is largely a leader in DeFi. So for me, Ethereum, whether in terms of blockchain or in terms of crypto, of course, remains essential. And I remind you that Bitcoin and Ethereum are the only two cryptos that have ETFs. And even if for now, we don't have as many inflows as we expected on Ethereum ETFs. So there too, of course, for the moment, there's a bit of disappointment. But in any case, the fact that there are ETFs is, of course, positive. And here we see that in recent months, there's still a resurgence of interest in Ethereum. So Ethereum will be one to watch for the end of the cycle. In any case, graphically, we still see that in recent months, there has also been a good recovery, with Ethereum now not far from returning to an upward dynamic on a weekly basis. And of course, one of the big objectives, at least what we all expect, will be the break of the ATH with the crossing of $5,000. And surely from there, as when we had the break of $70K on Bitcoin, that could allow Ethereum to completely surge upwards. 3. BitTensor Tau. All right, to continue, the third crypto I consider indispensable for this end of the bull run, for me, is BitTensor Tau. First of all, what's interesting about TAO is that it's a first cycle crypto. So this characteristic of a first cycle crypto, for me, is almost one of the most important in the market. As you know, generally, it's with first cycle cryptos that we see the best performances. While there are always exceptions, you'll always find some second cycle cryptos that perform well too. But in any case, if you want to maximize your returns, the best thing to do is to prioritize first cycle cryptos. What's more, what makes TAO even more interesting is that today it's the leader in the AI narrative. So it's a narrative that, for me, is among the top 3 narratives we currently have in this cycle. So combining all that, for me, makes TAO one of the most interesting cryptos we have in the current cycle. And on TAO, there's also an interesting fundamental with super evolutions, like with DTAO subnets, and also with really great tokenomics. So for me, when you combine all that, TAO is truly an essential crypto. And also graphically, TAO is one of the best performers of the cycle. And for those who are already following the channel in 2023, remember that at the time, we were buying TAO between $30 and $50. And even today, around $380, I consider that for the end of the cycle, we still have good upside potential on TAO. 4. CASPA. All right, To continue, the fourth crypto that is almost indispensable in a wallet in 2025 for me is CASPA. And CASPA, as you know, is one of my favorite cryptos. And there, as with Teo, it's a crypto I bought in 2023. And for me, it's truly one of the best cryptos we have in the current cycle. So what makes CASPA interesting, first of all, is that it's a first cycle crypto. So there I'll have the same arguments as for Teo. In addition to that, fundamentally, it's a truly super interesting crypto, since it's already a layer 1 crypto. And the layer 1 narrative, like the AI narrative for me, is among the top 2. 3 best narratives we have in this cycle. Moreover, fundamentally, CASPA is a truly super interesting project. So, it's a crypto that works on POW, and it's a crypto that was launched as a fair launch. And for me, in terms of project, of course, on a different scale, but for me, it's one of the rare cryptos that has the fundamental to compete with Bitcoin. And on the chart side, as you know, CASPA was one of the best performers in 2022 and 2023. And even if afterward we had the year 2024, with CASPA remaining in a range. And at the beginning of 2025, we had a bearish break of the range. But despite that, in the long term, CASPA's chart remains super interesting. And I consider that in terms of potential, CASPA remains one of the most interesting cryptos for 2025. 5. SUE. And finally, for me, the fifth crypto that is almost indispensable in a wallet in 2025 is the SUI crypto. And naturally, like the other 4, it's a crypto I have in my wallet. And there are several interesting things about SUE. So first, because like CASPA and Tau, it's a first cycle crypto. Additionally, it's a layer 1 crypto. And unlike CASPA, which was launched as a fair launch, what I find interesting about SUI is precisely the opposite. And it's precisely the fact that SUI is one of the cryptos most supported by VCs. In addition to that, if you've already tested SUI in terms of user experience, for me, it's perhaps the best blockchain. Already because it's simple to use, with transactions that are almost instantaneous and almost free. And it's a blockchain that has applications and tools that are really simple to use. And really, for me, SUE is one of the rare cryptos that can compete with Solana in terms of user experience. And on the chart side, it's the same. We have a chart that is really super interesting, and we see that in the long term, SUI remains on a good upward dynamic. And in terms of potential, we'll see how high it goes. But in any case, for now, what seems quite coherent to me would be to have SUI, why not, between $15 and $20 by the end of the cycle. So there you have it, friends. Thank you all for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Of course, as usual, feel free to tell me what you think and share your top 5 in the comments. As always, remember to subscribe, like, and comment on this video to support the channel. From my side, I'm putting all this online for you, and I'll see you soon. Ciao!